Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of Madikwe Safari Lodge's virtual safaris here in Madikwe Game Reserve in the northwest. Yeah, we'll keep you posted. Keep watching. We're following the Kilimeti pride with that dark mane Mahua just as the sun was setting, and we managed to actually follow them for a little bit off-road. However, you can still see this female. She's got her jaws around the throat, around the esophagus part of the warthog, trying to clamp down on that windpipe to suffocate. And this ensures two things. One, a fairly quick death by suffocation, but also quiet, because they don't want to alert any other predator in the area. Potentially any scavengers like hyenas, especially in large numbers, can actually push them off a kill. So very excited, very happy to see this unfold in front of us. You can see the sub-adults trying to also get in there. At the moment there's not a lot of tension around the carcass, which is quite good. Quite often you get, especially with the dominant male being here, is that they often will control and take over the kill immediately from the females. So he seems to be a little bit more relaxed. He's even laid down there. This just shows that you drive around and you follow lines for quite some time, and just happened to happen that the warthog ran out straight in front of this female and she went for it. She actually, I can replay the whole scene for you. The warthog came around, the female picked up the warthog, was in the area quite quickly, managed to get behind some bushes, sneak down, and the warthog carried on kind of trotting toward her, and then she came barreling out of the bush, and they went on the chase, and she grabbed it just on the with her dew claws, most likely just grabbing that one hind leg, tripping it up, but they both tumbled over each other. And then she managed to clamp down, get onto the throat as quickly as possible, and of course the rest of the pride just rushed in to give her assistance as well. So quite a phenomenal and fantastic sighting. You don't often get to see kills happen in front of you, because it always takes place at odd hours, sometimes really early, sometimes really late, sometimes during the evening, and this just happened to be right place, right time. So absolutely fantastic to witness. And I think this pride because just this morning this pride was seen also on a young warthog, also not far from where they are currently, so a little bit further east from where they are now. They were seen this morning during game drive on a small warthog. So that warthog probably was too small for the rest of the pride, and it just allowed them just to have a little snack later on in the afternoon, heading out, and the opportunity happened. So they are an incredibly energy efficient cat. A lot of people think that they're lazy because they'll spend a lot of the time during the day, 18 to 20 hours, doing absolutely nothing but lying around. But if you think of it, it's very smart, because they're conserving energy. There's no need to waste energy, especially when you don't know when your next meal is going to be. So it's getting quite late now, though. We're losing a lot more light. We're going to leave these lines to carry on feeding, and then we'll head out again tomorrow and just see what else we can find. Yeah, we've come across a breeding herd of elephants just walking in front of us here. This time of the year, now we're going into winter, a lot of the vegetation is going to start to become very dry. A lot of the nutrients are going to get stored into the roots, so the elephants' habits and diet is going to slightly change during this period of time, during winter. Their stress glands, their temporal glands just behind their eyes start to weep, and a clear indication of the animals that is going through a change, slight discomfort and stress. So a lot of the time it's very difficult, especially for the females who still have very young calves at this time of the year, to start producing enough milk to sustain the calf. So you find often, quite a lot of the time, is that they can become quite malnourished during this period. Driving around for quite some time, but we were lucky enough to come across the two Pinda males. It's a coalition of two male cheetahs in the reserve, and as their names state, from the Pinda, they originated from Pinda Game Reserve in KZN, and they've been in the reserve for quite some time now, and they are getting on to about roughly 7-8 years old now. Very successful, and are very capable of taking down much larger prey, with both of them on the hunt, and they're able to successfully take down small zebra calves, wildebeest calves as well. Take a closer look at this male. His claws are out. They are semi-retractable, hence why they are not classified as a true cat, but this helps with traction at excessive high speeds. The interesting fact with cheetahs is that they lack rotator cuffs. Notice with this cheetah trying to turn over, and when it was lying down, it's very straight, very rigid. They're unable to wrap their limbs around anything. So we've just come onto the airstrip area here, and we've managed to find our source of movement down on the airstrip on the tarmac, and it looked definitely like a cat, and it was one of the female Quena mothers, and luckily enough for us, the pride is out as well. The cubs are out, the two females are out. I'm not too sure where that male blonde Mahiwa is, but I heard his contact calling during the evening. So yeah, this morning's been a great start to the morning, and we've come out and we've gotten the two Quena females with the cubs, as well as the very small one as well. That small one is probably around, looking at towards 8, maybe 9, 10 weeks. Cubs generally stick with their mothers for quite some time. The females will generally stay within their natal pride and continue to stay within that group. Males, however, will often get kicked out when they get to a adolescent age. Exaggerated play that often helps with regards to stalking any prey items as well, and getting involved with potential hunts. As they get older, they develop the skill a lot better, and they become a lot more skilled at it. Their success rate generally sits at around 40-45%. So with these cubs, they're going to now be weaned, especially the larger ones, getting close to 6 months, maybe just over 6 months. They're going to start transitioning now, feeding on meat with a little bit of milk. The milk production in the females are going to start to reduce, and they're going to start feeding on the meat a lot more frequently. Look at the size of this guy. Very mature bull, and you can see by the structure of his skull, very rounded, very large. He's got that hourglass shape forming there, so he's got an age indication of over 25 years at least. During the summer months, they'll often go and use mud to splash themselves and keep themselves cool. Here you can see him throwing sand on himself, and that helps keep him warm and also controls bugs and pests as well. Giraffes create temporary associations, so they'll group together for a period of 24 to 48 hours in an area, socialize, and then move away from each other. But take a look at this female. She's got very dark colorations. New research has come out to say that with coloration as dark like this, is not purely and solely linked to males, but it's now genetics and dominance. We've just come across this pack of wild dogs, and this is the Bates pack. Certain individuals we can identify by their pattern. They're also known as the African painted wolf, and because of that specific pattern, they actually allow us to create ID kits, and we can identify each individual within the pack. And interestingly enough, over the past couple of weeks, we've actually noticed some quite interesting interactions between the two packs that we've got, and that they actually interacted right outside Madikwe Safari Lodge. That the outcome of that two packs meeting was quite interesting, because what actually happened was the beta female within the Bates pack ended up leaving that pack and joining the Nhlotis, which is the other pack in the reserve. Because she was a beta, she didn't have the hierarchy of an alpha. She was still quite young, and she wanted to breed and to be something a little bit higher than a beta female. So she ended up leaving that Bates pack and joining the Nhlotis, and now she's with them as an alpha female, which is quite interesting. Wild dogs will often hunt quite regularly, depending on the size of the pack as well. So this pack at the moment is a pack of 5 individuals. And then Nhlotis is also a pack of 5 as well. Since they met up that other evening, the numbers evened out to 5 in each, because it was 4 and 6. Now we're down to 5 and 5. So the number of wild dogs that we have in the reserve is low, but our meta population and the genetic diversity that is in this reserve is by far the most diverse in any of the reserves in the country. So we're trying to establish a breeding program to add to that meta population for South Africa for wild dogs. I mean, their status at the moment is endangered, and they are one of the most endangered species of carnivore on the African continent. apart from the more critically endangered Ethiopian wolf. So, you know, the numbers here within South Africa are less than 1,500. So we really need to look after this species and ensure that its future is taken care of as well. Quite energetic, especially when they get mobile now. The sun is set, and they're going to start going off and moving off and potentially making use of this last bit of light to hunt.